This girl lived for 45 years thinking she was abandoned, but the truth leaves her speechless. Between the years 1953 to 2020, more than 167,000 children have been adopted from South Korea from families all over the world. Denise McCarthy, who was one of these many children, thought that her story was quite remarkable to share. As a young girl, Denise was left abandoned at a hospital and soon enough was officially adopted by a family in Vermont who were delighted about their new addition. When Denise visited South Korea in 2016, she submitted her genetic information to this project in hopes that she'd find out who her biological family was. Denise was naturally curious to know why she was abandoned and perhaps learn more about her heritage. But Denise didn't expect that she would get her first contact with her relatives within just a few days. Everything appeared to be happening so quickly that Denise was understandably nervous. She didn't know whether she'd like what she would hear, but the truth about her abandonment was something Denise didn't expect at all. Denise finally got to meet her mother via a video call, who immediately teared up after seeing her daughter. It had been nearly 44 years since Denise had been adopted, and seeing her made her birth mother tear up. An interpreter was seated with her birth mom and slowly revealed the story behind Danielle's adoption. For years, Denise was under the impression that she had been abandoned at a hospital, but her birth mother began telling her the heartbreaking truth. As a toddler, Denise had gotten separated from her biological family after visiting a market in Seoul in 1976. And Danielle's birth mom realized that her daughter had ended up in a hospital and her adoption had soon been finalized to an American family. She was in tears. The exhaustive search for her daughter hadn't extended beyond South Korea's capital city, and she was heartbroken. The revelation even brought Denise to tears as she could now breathe easy, knowing she was never actually abandoned. She even apologized to her mother for getting lost on that day and having left them to live in another country. Denise did thank her mother for never giving up on her search, as it had been quite an extensive one. Her birth mother had enough proof of this search, as she had kept all the flyers she made of the little girl just in case she ever came back. Danielle's birth family had even enlisted help from the police and visited orphanages all across Seoul to see if Denise was there. They even went on a TV show that reunites guests with long-lost relatives, but nothing helped. When the reunion finally happened, all the originally present members were sadly not there years later. The video chat was just the beginning of a reunion that took place after nearly 4 decades. Denise had plans to travel to South Korea to reunite with her long-lost family. With the existing language barrier, Denise plans of learning more about her culture, and her sister even agreed to start teaching her Korean in exchange for English lessons. Denise also promised to spend the rest of her life trying to rebuild the bond with her family. She even planned a reunion where both sides of her family could meet, bringing together the two halves of her life. Denise is now overjoyed to have such a big family that loves her, and she couldn't have asked for anything better than this. Danielle's birth mother is beyond ecstatic that her exhaustive search has finally come to an end.